This video describes composite map capturing with your Medmont E300 corneal topographer. This is a very useful capture tool that allows you to image 100% of the cornea. So especially for large diameter specialty contact lenses, understanding the peripheral cornea can become very important. Start by creating a new patient or selecting from one of your existing patients. Then go to corneal topography. This brings up your standard capture window. Let's begin by asking the patient to look right down the axis of the instrument. We'll center the green crosshair, ask the patient to blink, and then open up as wide as possible. We'll take a good quality central image. Right-click, zoom to make sure the central Placido reflection looks good. We have an absence of tear film breakup, which is indicated by distortion in these Placido rings, or rings that aren't parallel to each other. If we like the image, we'll click Save, then Clear, and go back in. This time, let's move the Placido to the temporal aspect, asking our patient to look nasal 1 to 3 rings. What you want to do is see that the Placido reflection is hitting the temporal side. If the Placido hasn't quite reached the white of the eye, ask the patient to go another ring toward the nose until it appears that Placido has hit the limbus. Now we've pushed the Placido off to the temporal side. Let's zoom in, make sure the central rings look good. Click Save if so. Then Clear Images, and this time we'll ask the patient to look 1 to 3 rings toward the ear. Let's blink and open up as wide as possible. Take our centered images to get above 95%. We'll zoom in, make sure the Placido reflection looks good. Again, the better quality the Placido reflection, the more accurate the analysis will be. We'll click Save. Now we have central, nasal, and temporal. This time let's ask the patient to look up 3 rings and push the Placido to the inferior cornea. You may need to ask the patient to reach around the chin rest to pull down on the cheek and move it out of the way. Let's ask the patient to blink to smooth out the tear film, and then we'll center the unit to get a better than 95%. Zoom in, Placido looks good, we'll click Save. Lastly, we're going to ask the patient to look down, and this is the trickiest of the images to capture because the patient needs to maintain normal blink rate to allow for a quality surface reflection. Ask your patient to gently pull up on their eyebrow to drag the upper lid back as much as possible. Then have the patient look down 1 to 3 rings and blink, and then move in and take your capture. Again, we're attempting to push that Placido as far to the superior cornea as we can. We're missing a little bit of information here. Let's clear images and try that again. We'll ask the patient to look 3 or 4 rings down, blink, and pull that upper lid up or eyebrow up as much as possible, pushing the Placido as far as we can to the superior cornea. In this case, we're able to get those rings to reach almost to the limbus. Lots of eyelash shadows coming down, but that's difficult to eliminate. Let's zoom in. It looks like the rings are parallel and even. We'll click Save. Now we've got images of the patient's central, nasal, temporal, superior, and inferior. Let's close down the capture window. Open up the patient file. And you can see each one of your topographies. If we switch to axial power, we see this patient's normal figure 8 with the rule of astigmatism. That's looking central. Here's the patient looking nasal, now looking temporal, looking up, and looking down. After all these images have been converted to a colorized topography, you can highlight all the same eyes, all the rights or all the lefts, then go up to Analysis, composite eye. This function is going to merge all those topographies together and give you a broader view of the eye to fill in much of the peripheral cornea that may be missing from a single image. This can allow for imaging of 100% of the visible iris if we've been able to push the Placido to the far extremities of the cornea.